economics and how it works. I can guarantee you that if all of these teens took economics, that number would go down drastically. I honestly feel like this is a big issue that needs to be addressed because with more people coming out of high school with some economical knowledge, the more people we could possibly have making better financial decisions and having better futures for themselves. With that being said, it brings me to my second point, that it can help people make better financial decisions. These people being more so teens, as economics needs to be taught in these years, that being in high school. By knowing that there are not enough resources for your needs and wants, you can plan for them accordingly. For example, I am 16 and I have a job. I get paid bi-weekly. Now, economics teaches you the purpose of saving. Although you can say most teens would know how to save, not all teens know how to actually save. For example, when it comes to my paycheck, I usually save from 10 to 40% of the money. This is because my paycheck isn't the same every time. Then once you have your amount, you decide to save. You decide to save, or you decide to open a savings account and put the money in there and don't touch it unless you need to. The main reason you don't want to touch the money is because you can gain interest on the money and that interest adds up. Once you learn this at a younger age, once you learn this at another age, that being not an adult, the better you can make your financial future sooner. Your financial better sooner. People who haven't studied economics or any economic knowledge at all, they seem to struggle with many things financially. Now you can say you can just hire a financial planner, which is true, but why would you waste money when we all can learn from an early age and do it ourselves? Last but not least, how requiring students to learn economics in high school can help students in the future. As students begin learning economics, they begin to acquire skills that will be really useful in their future. According to Time for Learning, in the process, they build the analytical and problem-solving skills which will help them to succeed now as a student and in the future as working professionals. This is completely true because you have to, because this is completely true because you have to understand economics isn't just the concept of how money works. It is more the concept of broadening your thought process in situations. This is why economics must be learned in the high school years because as a high school student, you are getting ready for the real world. You must be able to have some type of thought process on how things work. This way you will not be sitting in the blue confused on how to do things. Having more economic knowledge of people also means a better future for them and the economy of the government. Jamie Wagner from UN Omaha states, their futures and the future of our economy and our democracy depend upon their making informed, reasoned decisions. Economic education shows them how to do that. As you can see here, economics has such a high value in our system and many other government systems as well. This is why economics is needed to be required in high school at the maximum. I mean, if it was up to me, I would start it in the middle school years. But high school is much better because we have the thought process and we are able to consume the information a lot better. Since I've said that, here's another statement Wagner said. We don't begin teaching other skills such as mathematics or reading in the 12th grade, so why should we start with economics? This statement couldn't get any more factual, which is why there is a need for economics to be required much sooner because the more you give the information, the better the student will be able to understand. So as you can see, we have two graphs, one dealing with economic education and the other one dealing with personal finance education. Both personal finance falls under economic education as well, but on the left side, you have the graph where economics is required in the United States, and then you have on the right side where personal finance is required in the United States. Now, these numbers aren't large at all. Like, I think there's 23 out of 50 states that require economics in the US, and that's close to half, but it should be all. Now, there are many people that are against economics but it is mostly an issue of how it's taught that seems to be the issue. Economic education places too much stock in mathematical formulas and not enough in human behavior. This is just a statement that I significantly disagree on. Yes, economics deal with math, but the study of human behavior is there. It could be a pacing issue, but these kind of statements can only be made if you haven't had economics prior to college, or if you just haven't grasped the concept of economics completely. This can be solved through by requiring students to learn economics, especially all throughout high school. The concept of what economics is will be understood a lot better. Now here we have a video on how economics, if you raise successful children, teach them about economics.
I need to expand.
With Amazon Business, you can save on supplies and use that money to change things.
You know what to do.
Amazon Business, your partner for smart business buying.
Welcome back to Squawk Box. This morning, financial literacy can help alleviate many money problems, yet only a handful of states require high school students to take a personal finance class to graduate. Even fewer require younger students to have any money lessons at all. CBC's senior personal finance correspondent, Sharon Epperson, takes a look at the state of financial education from the perspective of those who may benefit from it the most, students.
Any guesses?
They give it an abbreviation.
Correct.
We first met Olivia Raymond in early 2020 in her personal finance class in middle school. Now, a year later, 14-year-old Olivia is still using those important money lessons.
Those are skills that can be applied when I go for a job, when I apply to college.
A ninth grader attending high school remotely in New Jersey, she's looking forward to continuing to gain access to valuable financial education. New Jersey is one of 21 states requiring students to take personal finance coursework in order to graduate from high school, and those numbers are growing. So far this year, 25 state legislatures and DC have introduced financial education bills.
This is the opportunity for folks to reach out to their state legislators to say, this is important.
The economy has been fluctuating up and down. We need to know these things.
Zoe McCall testified in front of her local school board in Maryland last year, advocating for requiring a personal finance class in the district's high schools.
I can make a difference with the proper knowledge to make good financial decisions.
The board passed a resolution adding financial literacy as a graduation requirement.
It will be implemented for my class. It's just very, very exciting.
The oldest sibling in her family, Zoe, now 15, says it's an important victory for future generations.
So as you can see, economic education has been, getting on a rise for being required in schools, which is exactly what we need. More financially knowledgeable people leads to a better economy. Here are people that have been discussing this issue. Junior Achievement USA, which is the largest organization for teaching younger people on economics as a whole. They also got Citizens Financial Group, as largest bank and one of the oldest banks in the U.S., donating and addressing the issue for economic education being a requirement. And you got students across the country, such as Zoe McCall, who saw in a video, who advocated, went to their school board to discuss the issue about economic education. To conclude, there needs to be more action towards making economics a required subject. 23 out of the 50 states in the United States require economics, but that number hasn't really moved, as it only increased by 7 since 2000. By requiring this subject, it allows more people to, more specifically younger generations of teens, it allows them to have a better thought process, and not only in their current life, but in the future life as well. It allows them to be better financially, knowing how to be proficient with their money, so that they have a lower chance of going broke. Economics is just an all-around good subject, and I honestly feel like economics should be taught more than something like history. Don't get me wrong, history is cool, but when it comes to learning economics, that is something you need greatly in your life. Ever since I started learning economics in my sophomore year of high school, it allowed me to see things differently, especially with how the economy works. Having that clarity of why things are the way they are and how they work just gives you a better feeling, because there's so much stress about things just due to being uninformed.